Look, when I'm traveling, I always look up National Historic Landmarks.
That you need to know your history. Unless you know your history, unless you know where you come from, you can't actually know where you're going.
This is the childhood home and birthplace of Julia Gordon-Low. Now, Julia Gordon-Low was the founder of the Girl Scouts.
The National Historic Landmarks program is a collaborative effort. Anyone can propose a new property to be designated a National Historic Landmark. They would come to the National Park Service with that property and work with historians in the Park Service to evaluate it and to, if recommended, prepare a nomination.
Savannah is lucky to possess one of the largest National Historic Landmark districts in the nation and one of the oldest. It was established in 1966 and is roughly a square mile, spanning from the Savannah River in the north to Gaston Street in the south, and from East Broad on the east side to Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard on the west. Inside that district are approximately 1,500 so-called contributing properties that span from the mid-18th century to the 1930s.
National Historic Landmark designation is the highest recognition the federal government gives to historic properties. And when a property gets it, it sends a clear message that the property is not important just to a local community, but to the country and to American history as a whole.
So personally, look, when I'm traveling, I always look up National Historic Landmarks. I think if there's something I can visit or see the exterior of, I always find that interesting.
I believe that to preserve the history is a benefit by all means. As our generations succeed each other, there needs to be a way to pass on significant events and personalities, and especially the contributions of those personalities. So I really see the preservation of these historic districts as a plus.
I think the Oglethorpe plan is sacred, in my opinion.
One of the key characteristics of Savannah's National Historic Landmark District is the urban plan laid out by James Oglethorpe in 1733, which comprised 4 districts or wards, each centered on a square and with very distinctive urban blocks and street types.
I think that National Historic Landmark designation is so meaningful to landmark stewards because it validates all of the hard work that they've done, not only to maintain a historic property, but also in the nomination process, making that argument for national significance.
So being able to signify that these are really important sites on a national scale that have been well preserved and should be recognized for that. And is really one step down from being a World Heritage Site.
So let me ask you a question.
After the Secretary of the Interior designates a property as a National Historic Landmark, the regional office will send a letter to owners of the new landmark offering them a bronze plaque attesting to their site's significance. And one of the most special moments in the landmark process is a ceremony when that plaque is presented by a National Park Service employee to the stewards of the site. It's a really special time for everyone who's been involved in preserving the historic property or preparing the nomination to come together and to celebrate their achievements. The Savannah National Historic Landmark District was designated in the 1960s, and it's a very large district. It's hard for the National Park Service employees who are not in Savannah to understand what's happened since the 1960s with the district. So this year we are undertaking an integrity assessment just to find out what's happened. Does the district still have historic integrity? Is it still able to convey its important historic associations?
Some of the tasks that we performed as part of the assessment included recreating all of the original photographs from the Landmark District nomination. There were 22 images included with that nomination, and so I went and found all of those original vantage points and took photos today of those same shots. We performed the field work associated with the survey, and what that consisted of was visiting all of the squares and looking outward from the squares as well as at the squares themselves and taking photographs and visual assessment and categorizing the level of integrity and condition for each of those spaces. With all of this information, we will compile our findings in a report, and it will really serve as kind of a snapshot moment in time of the district and where it sits today.
If people want to engage with the National Historic Landmarks program or historic preservation in general, the best thing to do is to get out and visit a historic site. There are some in every community. And you can't replace that feeling of going to a historic place and seeing where something important in the past took place, or seeing a building where a person who shaped American history worked. There's something very special about that physical experience of being in a historic place.